The
is.
gators off.
I think y'all know what it is. I think y'all know what we're about to do. Let's hit that intro music.
Warning, the following program contains strong black first opinions about mature and strong subject matter that affects Black America and the diaspora as a whole. Listen at your own risk, you sissy.
Grand Rising All, you are listening to the one and only Be One or None. Good morning from Africatown, Los Angeles.
And we're back.
Uh-huh.
What it do? God damn it.
Well.
Yeah. Let's discuss.
Well, can I testify real quick? Brothers and sisters, we don't know what's wrong with you. We don't know what's wrong with us. You didn't allow the Democrat monster to take your mind. We came here to testify today about our dear, well, I can't call her sister, but our dear sister, Candace Owens. Mm-hmm. Well. What that means to say is we have a situation with Kamala versus Candace Owens. It's kind of interesting, being the fact that if Kamala was actually a black woman, they would be guilty of the same thing, which is what we call that when you go to the other side, when you go into the house with massa and get cozy in the bedroom. What we call that?
Well, the nice word is divesting.
Comfort gallon. That's what we call it. Comfort girl status. So we have an interesting situation as to where Candace Owens, and I'm not one of the ones that bash Candace like that and whatnot, being that she's done what she's done, because broken clocks are right twice a day, and this is one of the times where she's right. So Candace has this clip going around where she says we are witnessing perhaps the most diabolical political scheme in American history, and that scheme that she's referring to is she is claiming that Kamala went and took her black servants and had them pose as black family members to back up her story about being a black woman. Now, what say y'all? Because what y'all got from me?
Scandalous. Just scandalous.
Well, what happened? They're saying she didn't take them. They said that there are pictures of just family pictures that she took with the servants that helped raise her or help that her family was around, because we keep calling her black and we keep attesting that she's black because her father was a Jamaican, but her father was in Jamaica as a slave owner and he's Irish. So you really gotta look at Candace Owens when Kamala wrote her book. She wrote about her grandmother Irish, but Candace Owens traced it down to where there's two Irishes. There's a white and a black one, and she couldn't have been talking about the black one because the woman had died. So
I think we should clarify that part right there about the father for the audience.
Old pictures of the help and pieced together a black family.
They said that late. She died actually 4 years. She passed away like 4 years, I think.
20
before she was born, before Kamala Harris was born, so that couldn't be the grandmother. They say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think for argument's sake, we should clarify that to the audience when they use this false premise that Kamala's father was Jamaican. Immediately in our mind, we think Bob Marley or something like that he was a black person. But the reality is, if you know what goes on in the country of Jamaica, Sean Paul tells you everything. Sean Paul obviously was not a black man, but he was a certified Jamaican. So that tells you that it's the same as being over here. You don't expect every American to be a white person just because they're from America. So you got somebody that could be born Japanese, born and raised in America, and he's going to be considered an American. Same thing goes for Jamaica. Just because you resided there or was born there does not mean that you were a black person. So they use that smoke and mirrors to cover over the fact that Kamala obviously lied about her lineage.
And like, so if you all do, okay, first of all, I do have to say this. I like, I like the work that Candace Owens does. I think that I do. No. I'm sorry. I do. You know, if you, I do. I'm just going to put it out there. People can feel how they want to feel. That's all right. So I got to put that out there. But if you, okay, so what she's saying, if you, like, you do have to go, whether you like it or not, like, you do have to go back to all that are listening and, like, look, if you go to Candace Owens on YouTube, like, I think it's like, it was like the past 2 weeks, she's been covering this. So, like, she actually has it broken down where, like, you can see it's very, very confusing because there's so many, you know, playing parts in it. But I think a lot of people, she kind of prompted a lot of people to kind of be boots on the ground with that kind of conversation and bring some information forth. And so it's been coming together. It's going to be interesting to see how it looks, because what Kamala has actually done, she did this to herself. What she's done is that the woman that she's identified, I'm trying to find the picture so I can show you all, but what she's done is this woman that she's claiming is her paternal grandmother, she intentionally wrote that in a book. So she used the help to pretend, literally, and she identified her as, you know, hanging out with my paternal grandmother. And at the time, her paternal grandmother, I think she would have died 4 years before Kamala Harris was born, if I'm not mistaken. So there's no way that was her paternal grandmother that she took the picture with. It was the help. And if you go back and watch those episodes, like the past week, it'll show where, like, they were switching up names and whatnot. Kamala Harris's family comes from a bunch of aristocrats, individuals, communists. Yes. So, yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, this guy, I listened to this dude, this white guy. You know, hey, it is what it is. You know, I learn from everybody. I try to, you know, listen to other people to get their, you know, perspective on this thing. And his guy.
Are y'all there? My bad.
Yeah, we hear. Yeah,
can
we see the pictures. Yeah, we hear you.
Pictures.
Yeah, and I was saying this while you showing the pictures. There? I was saying, when you show the pictures, I was saying that this guy was talking about Kamala Harris, that term she used. What they say, she keep repeating that same thing. Abundance.
I was raised as a middle class.
What she be saying all the time? She always say the same. Yeah. That can be or not can be, whatever the hell she be saying. That's a term from a Marxist. This guy back in he was a known Marxist, and she actually took that from some kind of. I think he's a German guy. That's a saying they used to use, and he was a Marxist. And see, that she know a lot of people don't know that unless you some kind of history or some kind of scholar that's in that field. And this guy was breaking it down. He said, "Yeah, that's what it means." And she know she's saying that to the ones who know. That you call them BLM, Black Lives Matter. They were trained Marxists. Them sisters, them LGBTQ women. Yeah, the facts. Okay.
So do y'all think that? Y'all think these pictures, like looking at this is consistent with her behavior? Like I was saying, she did the same thing with the smoking weed and listening to Tupac before he was even doing music. So it's like a consistent pattern with her.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. What people don't understand. Like, this is a repetitive behavior. This is an ongoing pattern of just buffoonery.
This ain't like a gaffe or a slip up. This is an ongoing pattern.
So if you all are looking on the screen, right, in the book, the picture now to like the furthest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that is her. That is who she said is her paternal grandmother. This lady here, Miss Iris, to the left of Kamala in this picture. Yeah, that is actually her grandmother.
Exactly.
White woman, right?
Yeah,
here is the actual.
She's Irish.
No damn.
So when they're talking about the picture, that's the help right there. That's why in the corner, that black and white picture, they were saying that's why there was, like, you know, it lacked like it was affection. She was the help, and she wound up staying. As she got older, she wound up staying and sharecropping and working there. You know. So
in Brooklyn, fact, Brooklyn Tradition made a good point. Pull it up. That all of this was revealed because of what they went, all because they went against Janet Jackson.
Facts.
Yep, leave us black people alone.
I would say so. And not only do we've identified this as a consistent pattern with Kamala, but it shows an overall bigger gaping hole in our black society, to where a person like this can slide right into our circles, right into the HBCUs and all these different. She can go through the rigmarole and pull this costume party off, and nobody bats an eye at it.
Yeah.
And I want y'all to see this picture of her real family and their attire.
Yep. She's proud Indian. She's a proud
Indian. Even though they got black skin, doesn't mean they're Black Americans, and that's the difference. This is her interview. Yes, and you can see, and that's why they wanted. You can look at this woman right here and see she's standing offish. Are you going to really be with your grandmother like that? Look how she's standing. But then when you with your real grandparents, look at how y'all are standing as a family. She's not showing. It shows you that they take pictures. So where's the pictures of her? This woman and her daddy. If you're trying to say this woman is your grandmama, that means you're trying to say this dark-skinned woman is your father's mom, when it's her.
Yeah.
The white woman who looks like her. What, they smile alike.
Mm-hmm.
They got
and it was talking about how when they came over here,
the other help.
How do we account for the fact that she's able, even with this evidence here, these receipts here, that she's able to get a vast majority of Black Americans to vouch for her as a Black person, even though they clearly see she lied? I mean, at what point does this Democrat loyalty stop? Because we looking stupid before the world. I'm sorry,
brother. We just like anything look like they Black, and we love symbolism. We ain't learned from Barack Obama. We ain't learned. Yeah, we call Bill Clinton the first Black president, because that tells a lot about our people. We accept any damn thing. I really want to say will piss some people off, but I'm not gonna say it. Okay.
I'm gonna play this because even nobody knew, and I didn't know this until Candace Owens pulled it up. Kamala was the prosecutor or DA going after Michael Jackson. So her and Janet Jackson had already had a beef. And it was just Kamala. So funny that Kamala. And either which way, like when we said Trump has always been with Black celebrities. He helped when Jesse Jackson wanted to run for Black president. He supplied the funds. Nobody else did. You see now that when they was accusing Michael Jackson, you will hear Trump saying that he didn't do anything, that Michael Jackson never did anything, and he thought that Michael Jackson would be found innocent. But I want you to listen to this.
And he was fighting them, and he was winning against them. He was going to eventually control the Beatles catalog. Next thing you know, he ends up dead.
Fair use on YouTube. Fair use.
Entire legacy destroyed with accusations that did not win in court. He, like I said, was acquitted. Go back, watch that episode that we did on him, and inform yourself on that. But it's incredible to see that, and people are now replaying these clips. He was going to eventually control the Beatles catalog. Show you the side by side of Kamala and Vioris. And we then learned, because someone pointed it out to us, that actually Vioris's birth name is Iris. I can't believe I missed this. I produced the birth certificate and obviously did not read it for details. But yes, if you look at her birth certificate again, it actually says in that second column that her birth name is Iris. Now that explains why whoever created her profile on Ancestry.com put Iris in parentheses. On that far side, it says Vioris Anita, and that's her baptismal name. As I've been going through all of these documents, I realized baptismal names are very important, or were at this time, because they then used them and pretended that it was their legal names on other documents. But yeah, so when we see that, and we go, okay, so we now have a grandma Iris. That's very interesting. We know that this woman was born in 1927 in St. Elizabeth, and her last name was Cambridge. And I'm wondering, and I'm sure you're wondering, could she be the Miss Iris that Donald refers to so affectionately throughout his piece? He claims in that piece, by the way, that Miss Iris's ancestry is unknown to him, right? He also claims that that Iris that he mentions is his grandmother. So it would be Kamala's great-grandmother and not her grandmother, which I suspect she is. And I'm going to show you the extremely Black woman that we are shown a picture of. A picture that he claims he captured of Kamala sitting on Miss Iris's lap. Now, I have received, by the way, a note from a woman who is in her 70s who swears that she knew this family and that that woman there worked for the family. As we work to get in touch with her, she's a bit older. Trust me, I am on it. I've reached out. I'm going to actually place a phone call later on today to try to see if she'll pick up her phone, if she's easier to connect with that way, to get to the bottom of whether or not she really does know this family. She claims that she worked for the family for so long, didn't want to leave, and that is, in fact, a picture of the help, which would be wild. Absolutely wild if we can get somebody to confirm that. What we do...
Okay. Did y'all hear that?
Loud and clear. This is clear cut.
Yeah,
this is a clear cut theme.
He's using it, and you could tell these are two older women. So the first woman that Kamala, who she was sitting on that woman's lap, was old back then. So with Kamala being grown, that woman didn't age backwards. That woman that Kamala was with a young child, you know, it's the help. She's just posing next to each one of the helps. And then now that it's important, she's running off the help as one of her grandparents, when we could clearly see this white woman, because she wants to connect her Blackness to her Jamaican father. When we could clearly see her grandmother is in the other pictures with her and her family in their Indian attire.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
And I think that the insult of this is that they really believe that Black people are this stupid. And unfortunately, when it comes to Black Democrats, obviously, they're either this stupid or this criminally negligent to back this fraud. Because you have to know that backroom conversations are being had in these Democrat Party circles with these Black Democrats to push this narrative. And it's like, they're not real good at covering up. I think that sometimes they're so schizophrenic and prideful that they forget that we are in the information age and you can get all this stuff at the touch of a finger, concrete receipts. So I think I don't think they factored in that we would be able to figure out that they paid the Steve Harveys, that they paid the D.L. Hughley's, they paid the Smileys, they paid these people off to push this lie. There's a reason why that private Zoom call was a private Zoom call.
And the sad part about it, D.L. Hughley was talking about her. You know they paid him because he changed his story right after they paid him. Or at least allegedly.
And you know Harvey got paid. Anytime you got to come out and say, I'm so big, I ain't have to take no money, I'll do this for free, then you know dang well Negro, you got paid. If you didn't get paid, why would you be worrying about if or what amount it was that Dr. Umar Johnson was offered to be paid to prop this lie up?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, these people are going back to their rich lives. They don't even have the Black experience no more. Because when we say Kamala is not Black, like I said in my video, we're not talking about she doesn't have Black in her. We're talking about she doesn't have the Black experience. She can't relate. So she cannot represent us as Black people. We're saying Trump been around Black people. We're not saying he's not racist. He's not a white man. We're just saying that he's offered more to help Black people than Kamala has said. Kamala came out her mouth and said she's not going to help Black people. Kamala has came out her mouth and said that she's South Asian. We added Kamala in. Kamala riding off the backs of Black people because she wants to be elected.
I mean, she did actually say she would help us in some ways. She said she would help us to get football numbers in our prison sentences, and she would help us to get our children confiscated by Children's Services.
God damn it.
Exactly. And did y'all see the video of the Black lady that came out? Her and her child was sickle cell, and she's one of the Black women that Kamala had arrested for her truancy program.
Yep, saw that. Sad, man. Sad. The girl
had a stroke, and nobody wants to look at the truth because Kamala is just like somebody, like she said, with the stroke of her pen. That was in her words. She realized how much power she had. So she's doing like these rich white people have done to us. They're practicing making laws because they thinking if you don't live in this communities and stuff, you just imagine what's going on. So you making laws to what you think is going to be better. But she was making laws and she was passing us along because she wanted the state of California. What we don't understand is Black people, we don't trace money. We don't know how cities, counties, and states work. They pay $20-something thousand a child in every state. And if your child is disabled, they're letting it in because they get the money from the federal government. Thanks. And so what a lot of white people do is they give us that's why they separate their schools and they use the money to teach their kids what they want, and then they control the curriculum. And she was saying that with the kids having truancy was costing the city billions of dollars, meaning that those schools wasn't getting dollars to hire these white teachers. That's why most of the teachers are white or other races. It's like we're playing a money game and we keep letting these people play with us. Kamala is like most white people. They look at the Black community and figure out instead of what the Black community is crying for through this election and everything else is that we need help. We don't need y'all to assume help. The way that everybody else, when they get in office, their way of trying to help Black people is arresting us, locking us up, and putting us away and using us as free labor. When everybody else, look at the immigrants that's coming in. We'll go to that subject next. There's all these millions of all these thousands of immigrants coming in. They're getting a second chance, whether they have raped someone, whether they have murdered someone, whatever, and we're paying them. But when everybody else gets a second chance, slaps on the wrist, we're not saying everybody don't commit crime. We're not saying that. We're just saying when it comes down to the Black population or the Black community, we are punished, even though we were put in the situation we are in, and nobody else is going in. We want Kamala to get in office and do what you're doing for the immigrants. That's the whole point of saying you're not Black, because you're not relating with Black people. You're ready to be like white people and punish Black people for their poverty and punish us for the generations of poverty that we have been put in because of white supremacy.
To piggyback on that, now you can literally say and prove this, that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden alone have done more damage and destruction just between his 40 plus years in office and however long she's been there. They've done more damage to the Black family than shadow slavery itself has done.
Yes, they created programs that they want to punish. Oh, well, they didn't go to school. It's not that the parents are working, just like the late Black lady with the sickle cell child. She missed days. Who mostly has sickle cell? Black people. If you know anybody with sickle cell, you know how it is. It flares up.
Exactly. I know plenty of people had it. It's in my
we don't have nannies. At the end, what we didn't grasp out all of this, all through Kamala's life, she had nannies. Her daddy had slaves. Her granddaddy had slaves. So they're used to being in the white life where they're using Black people as chattel.
She's a part of the middle class.
That's why she was so comfortable. I mean, she says it. I don't know if we have the footage of that or the tape of that, but she literally says, I want that free prison labor for the state of California. I want that federal funding for education. I want that money. She literally says this.
She was talking about Black parents. She was like, I like money. I want money. It wasn't about, let me see if this Black parent needs a second chance like she giving immigrants. She's giving her community what she relates to with her community. Her community and her family are immigrants, no matter whether she's Black or white. They are immigrants.
And Brooklyn Tradition made a good point.
She's helping immigrants.
Yeah, he said it doesn't matter because she's AKA. Them AKA gonna listen to her. They don't care what we saying. They gonna listen to her because she's a Sorrow. She's a
Sorrow.
Yeah, that BS. That ain't Black folks ain't gonna
Yeah, that's why repeatedly on this program I've broken down what we identify as white identity groups, because when you belong to these white identity groups, you have a certain amount of white access and proximity, and these Negroes throw themselves over themselves to get a piece of that. If they can just get their foot in the door and get next to you, I mean, just test it out. They do this even in the activism scene. We'll be out here doing the boots on the ground work, and the second somebody that has any inch of white access shows up, we get pushed aside.
Somebody said, "What do we think?" Somebody said, "What do you think about the? What do y'all think about the Rainbow Railroad Coalition of Solemn to Canada?"
We'll talk about that next. That's not in our subject line. So let's move on.
So we're going to the what?
Because all these white countries The reason why they brought the Rainbow Coalition here, because they already was doing it in other countries, and they want white gay men want to be comfortable wherever they go. White people want to be comfortable wherever they go. That's why the rules are pushed on our backs. That's why stereotypes are pushed on our backs. If we wear our afro, then we got bad hair. If we our boys are told to cut off their dreads because their hair don't grow, and when they do dread it looks mad and not dreaded. And so everything about us that they cannot be, they make a law or something against it and make it uncomfortable. Ever since slavery, white men have been trying to get at the black man behind, not trying to be funny. That's where the sagging come from.
Literally,
black men butts to me.
You know the part that gets me with that, and not to get off topic, because Kamala is definitely a part of this, is because she comes out of that Frisco era, that Frisco aristocracy that we have here in California. So she comes out of that. So she's been in this aristocracy her whole life, whether it's from India, wherever, Jamaica, wherever it was, always to here. She's always been a part of that white aristocracy. And when we see, the thing I see here is this, like I brought this up a couple of shows ago. I do not understand, well, because of the white identity groups, I do understand why they're doing it, because their end game is to get into the white world and to be as white as they can, in most cases with black Democrats. But you guys to feel a certain kind of way that you see the Civil Rights Act being used and plundered and graped time and time again by all these different other groups, and you've done all this fighting, sacrificing, our ancestors died for us to vote, all this stuff, and you still can't go to work with an afro. You can't go to work with a Pan-African flag. You can't go to work with a
you can't even play football. Your children can't even play football.
But Johnny and Ramsey can throw up a pride flag at work, walk around, do whatever they want to do, and you can't even go to work with an afro or have a Juneteenth flag or an RBG flag on your desk, or you out the door. You can't even have locks or braids still in America. And you sit there and still go along with this group, this party. Well, I don't understand that.
Condition, my brother, condition. So we get into the let's get to Diddy, y'all. Because
I know y'all let's get into the port workers, because this is gonna I really we here. We can go to the Diddy, and then we
do port more important. The Diddy we gonna stay too long. Diddy,
thing I want to say about Diddy is that Diddy is not Hollywood. It took so long for black people, and now that they're in Hollywood, black men left and right, every black billionaire has been accused of rape or doing something, and Hollywood has been doing it for years. Hollywood has been doing it. Was first white boys and everybody talking about how Hollywood is, but now when it comes down to it, the face of the demons of Hollywood is being painted as black men, while white men go back and the wealth is being kept. It's like slavery again. They selling their souls out to be in the white limelight, and then they're not going back to spend their millions and build up communities. They're spending their millions every year trying to keep up with a white man's lifestyle, and then after they reach their billionaire mark, they make all this money, and they use the black community to make the money, because we're the ones paying for the entertainment, watching them, making them not our idols, and then all our money is poured into their pockets, and here comes the white man ready to lock them up, and then all that money that's in their pockets is poured back into the white communities. Because when the black people like Diddy and stuff is locked up, why isn't that all this money? They did it to Michael Jackson. They got Sony back. They did it to Whitney Houston. They did it to Bill Cosby, like R. Kelly. When is this money going to go back to the black communities? Because we're the ones that was making them famous. It doesn't matter if white people like them. They're coming from our communities. And that's the problem with our black men who get rich, and our black women too, who get rich and take your money somewhere else. Because the whole thing about white supremacy is to keep, Chris Brown. They even got the Chris Brown documentary. We keep taking this flame and running it through our community. White people light the fire. We come with our sticks and we burn down our communities with their stuff. But we don't never get fires in their communities and go burn down their idols and their stars and stuff. There's always painted a different tune.
Yeah, because just like she's saying, why are we not seeing surviving Harvey Weinstein? Why isn't he lost all his fortune? Why is he getting the Diddy treatment? When Harvey Weinstein went to court, unless you really, really were searching for it, you wouldn't even know he went to court and even got arrested or anything. Same with Peter Nygaard. This guy slipped under the radar the entire time. And a lot of people still don't even know that I pointed this out. Out here in LA, he had a couple of stores. One was a warehouse, and one was a showroom store where he would sell some of his pieces. Right here is on the borderline of Compton and Gardena, right on Rosecrans Avenue. He had his stores right there. Even after he was arrested, his store stayed open, I think, a year or two after he'd even got arrested. He was still making money. And we talking about sex trafficking, all the same things Diddy's doing.
Oh yeah, he's done. Let's be honest.
The ultimate. Let's go to Jeffrey Epstein. We keep talking about a Diddy party. Jeffrey Epstein had a whole fucking
whole island, y'all.
And they say more than
say it, Queen.
He was a billionaire. And nobody is saying how did he become a billionaire. They claiming they could trace us, they could trace our money, they could trace a fucking PPP loan, but they can't say why this fucking white man and this woman and all of them have billions of dollars, and they can't say who's sitting it to him or who paid the cash.
Blackmail money.
One word. Well, yeah, one word. He was a small hat.
They want us to stop talking about Epstein and talk about this sexual mess onto the black community like that's our culture. That is not our culture.
Exactly. See, Epstein is a small hat, and they're the top of the food chain. Black people at the bottom of the food chain, so we can't even compare. I get what you're saying, but we can't compare. The world don't care. You can't compare Epstein to Big Diddy because Diddy's a black man, and black people don't have no power. So Epstein, his people got power. Only reason why they locked him up because he broke protocol, just like Harvey Weinstein. Because that, believe me, them guys, Harvey Weinstein is an Israeli, small hat. So he was protected for a long time, but he just kept effing up. So they had to go on and make him an example too. But yeah, that's the difference. That's why.
It's hard to get what it is.
That's why I told everybody we're gonna get that power just like that. You're gonna respect black people just like you respect them, because that's the only way people gonna really respect us. When you say something bad about our people, we're gonna check you just like you do with them. But see, we can't protect the ones that doing the BS though. So at the same time, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm with
see, that's why the Juby Dooby Doos have the position and power they do, and they can shut you down just for saying your opinion about them, because they have organization structure, and we don't look at the fact that when you look at hip hop, like just look at hip hop itself. You might as well just start bringing on out the people in the yarmulkes and have them just saying, yep, we run this thing, because it's their culture now. And what they're selling, and I don't want to go like down that path, but I'm going to touch on it. The same thing that Hitler was saying as to why he wrote Mein Kampf and took the actions he took, you see the same group of people doing it to black people here in America. Literally the same thing, from the banking to the pornography, to on down. Everything that Hitler said was being done to his people is being done to us right here, right now. And those are the facts, folks.
It's the facts, yeah, bro. You're right. And like I said, we got it. Going back to Diddy real quick. We ain't gonna stay on him too long. It's just the point of you mess with these people. You think because you hang around these YT people and these certain celebrities. I see Leo DiCaprio and all of them. And so it's a documentary on Hulu. Me and my girl was watching last night. Like 45 minutes. Yeah, man, it was getting kind of in depth with a lot of stuff. And all these celebrities, he think because he had all these YT people at his parties and stuff. I mean, and his problem was he messed up. He started messing with them white girls, them YT girls, and stuff like that. So, because a lot of them got some, it'll be we know people gonna be coming out the wazoo talking about he did something. They even had a 1-800 number up there last night when they were
1-800 Diddler.
Exactly, but he's gonna go. I mean, he's not getting out. And look, they showing his kids. What I don't like though, but I'm pissed off about him about this. Because we know some stuff he did. Let's be real. But my thing is, dude, you was a music mogul. You was one of the most respected cats out there in the music business, and you up here got kids. You gotta leave a legacy for your kids. You could have been somebody great. Now you messed your whole empire up. Your kids gonna be in walking shame. Your daughters, they're gonna walk in shame. When you do these freak offs and stuff, you gotta think. He got 3 daughters. Y'all know that he got 3 daughters, not know just the twins. He got another daughter that's older than them. And I'm like, man, think about your daughters when you do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your daughters to get involved in crap like this.
Some of these people,
you know what this position is.
And some of it consensual too, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what this position is. If you a Michael Jai White fan and you watch his movie called Blood and Bone, like I recommend you just for this point alone to see if you want to understand what Diddy was into this white and Juby Doo world. To understand what he was, watch that movie Blood and Bone, and you'll see a scene where the main villain, the main character that that was in charge of Michael Jai White's character. He was like into illegal underground fighting, and the international white group was called the Consortium. And you just watch that interaction when this black man tried to buy his way, and he spent over $1 million or something like that to buy his way into the white world. And the white man had to clearly put and let him know, no matter how much money of our money you spend and give back to us, you still are not ever going to be white. Literally, he told him that. And that's the position that Diddy was in. He was like, you only have the power that you have and the influence because we let you have it for our own purposes. Is basically what he told him. And that's what a Diddy is.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Now,
Sammy
what about
Davis
the
Jr.
children? What about them saying Diddy?
Oh yeah, the kids. Oh, it's over. I mean, it's
yeah, the children, because I feel like these people are grown now.
Yeah, they're gonna go back. They
These
can do it.
People are grown now.
I don't think it's statute of limitation on it.
Is that no? But why is it that you were 9 years old? How old are these people now?
Yeah. Hell, even Donald Trump vouched. Well, no, that's from Michael Jackson.
They're doing.
You know why that part is going on. There's a reason why that part is going on, because, like I said again, a lot of these people, maybe because they're older and senile, I don't know what, like Harvey Weinstein, all these types of people, Epstein, they're older and senile and don't understand that we're in the info era. Possibly the most likely reason why heads are rolling like this, and now they want to bring up the kids, is because now they have a boogeyman that they can blame it on. Because if you've been paying attention across the country, child protective services, probation departments, and all this have been tagged exposed by the I believe the FBI as to being involved in sex trafficking, especially when it comes to black people, which is why a person can just vanish off the face of the earth without a trace and no one can find where they are. And now if you got people with the resources that have private islands, private jets and all this, of course, once Jabbar and whoever comes up missing, they're going to never be heard from again. And you have to know that law enforcement at some point is involved in that process.
They say they're going after Big Pharma and all these people, like the folks who provided the IV, for them, they're having sex and getting, drugs up all night. The people like for Big Pharma and all that. And one person made a good point. The only reason why they throwing it out, let them just get lawyered up, because, like I said, the small people going down. I mean, anybody who's there didn't say nothing is going down too. So they're gonna make an example out of him and anybody else. He's not the only one gonna go down. They're gonna you probably hit. I say before the election, all the other names gonna pop up. They already talking about J-Lo allegedly, Jay-Z allegedly. They even said Naomi Campbell and them name popped up. It was some YT people too. But yeah, a lot of names on popped up. You know what I'm saying? And I've been hearing, because Jay-Z was with he was with Leah when she was underage, and when Beyonce was 16.
Beyonce was 16 when they first got together.
Exactly. People understand that stuff. Them guys, man, they've been doing this for a long time. So,
and this might sound a little conspiratorial, but I'll be brief with it and land the plane on it. Is when you look at this thing with the pedophilia that goes on in these Hollywood circles, like she was saying earlier, it's been going on in white Hollywood forever. Elvis Presley did it. All these big names have done it. And
Woody Allen.
Yeah, they all have done it. And it's like a ritual. It's like a Hollywood ritual. And like I said, when you get a Diddy coming in the door, he gets introduced at the lower end of it. And the whole time, I would go as far as to say that they bring a Diddy in so that when someone screws up like a Epstein did, you can have the fall guy be the Negro at the bottom and to protect the people at the top.
Exactly.
But look, they all, like we said, they always destroy the rich black man or black woman's image. And I'm not saying that they are not doing wrong. The problem is that our wealth is always depleted. Either we're selling ourselves out to another race, either we're giving up our riches for demeaning our communities, or things like this. When our black people get rich, they go over there and they try to join the YT Hollywood and live like them, when we didn't have much in the beginning and we could have built better communities and better neighborhoods and stuff. But yet, when you live in the rich world, you got to keep up with that money and you got to keep buying expensive stuff, because the whole thing about being rich is what? Not allowing you getting something that you feel like nobody else should have. And our Black people need to stop being caught up in this mess of trying to get rich so you can live white and keep ending up like these stars doing stuff that you disrespect yourself with.
Because they're like Dr. Clark said, if you don't have a code of conduct, you got nothing.
And
everybody else live by a code.
Among ourselves.
Yep. Even those groups do the same thing. They got a code. Just like when them YT girls be mess with them brothers, they had a little fun and get that wood and all that. But at the end of the day, look at Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton was wilding out back in the days. Look at her now, happy wife, happy life. She up there, she you never knew she did all that. But see, her daddy came to her like, look,
reputation impact at that.
Yeah, he like,
I remember we were saying we were bouncing this around. I think in the group chat maybe a couple of days ago, and I said, look at all these wealthy and famous Black men who just passed away, which would be Frankie Beverly, who's the guy from the voice of Lion King, the James Earl Jones, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then you had Tito Jackson, and the father from Good Times was one of them. And I said,
James Evans, and he died. That's part of our topic too. He died back in August.
Let's get into that now. But yeah, that's what they say. But I heard his sister.
No, his daughter said it. His daughter did a TikTok. They said that she was upset that everybody was just acknowledging his death.
I heard at one time they said she put that out there. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because they said one time she put it. I remember they said she put that out there, and he got mad at her, telling her, he let people know he was still living. So yeah. Then I heard today, they said when she found that yesterday, the same time like everybody else found that he had passed away. So I think the August thing ain't really true, I don't think, but his daughter put that out there. But yeah, him and his daughter didn't get along too much, and then her brother didn't tell her. They say his brother didn't tell her that her dad passed, so she found like everybody else did. That's what they say. So no.
I believe he did pass in August because this Black channel had it. August 21st, my granddaughter's birthday. Yeah, I believe he did pass in August.
They said the daughter had put
the part I was interested in bringing those names up.
Michelle. Yeah, people know in the
chat. The part I was interested in bringing those names up is not one of them left any lasting legacy for Black people. Is crazy.
Well, John Amos was married to a white woman.
Yeah, he was Snow Bunny, then so was James Earl Jones, Snow Bunny.
Yeah, James Earl Jones had a young Snow Bunny. Yeah.
They was both skiing on them slopes big time.
Like you said, we ain't talking about our people, but they even with Kobe. I love Kobe, but his generational wealth went to a Hispanic chick that kicked her own mom out the damn house, and he get his mom and dad nothing. His dad died. His dad passed away, and they was struggling, man, and they had to sell his ring, one of his championship rings, to get some money. And she was even like,
Would you go as far as to say that? Well, we're talking about the wealth aspect of this. That this this of what we just got through talking about with Diddy, how when they hang you out to dry, they bleed you dry and they get the money back into their coffers. Would you say that this going outside and marrying a white man or a white woman to get into that world, and once you fall or you pass away, all that money goes right back into the white hands? Is that like another siphoning tactic?
Exactly. Even Richard Roundtree, the original chef, he was married to a YT woman.
What?
Yeah, look at Richard Roundtree wife. All them jokers, man. Fred Wilson.
Because when Black men, and I'm not trying to be funny, Black men started this stuff, and I know that you can marry whoever you want, but common sense is if we're fighting a civil war to get our wealth, that's the whole point of racism, was to snatch wealth out of Black people's communities so that Black people could not build or depend on themselves, so that we could depend on a system. They accomplished that. And then our Black men who were getting rich, it's like you get the white man money and now you get to play with his toys.
What's up, Nikki?
And that's
shout
the
out
problem.
Everybody up in here, y'all. Sorry, we got Nikki up in here.
Yeah, shout out to the chat.
Michelle, what's up? Let's Talk Network, Broken Traditions, everybody. Yeah, and some more people I think I missed. Yeah, but yeah, man, it's real talk. Like I said, we gotta leave a legacy, man. That's my thing about it.
We're not going to live a legacy when we don't even know what is Black, when we keep inviting everybody else in, either the Black people in America. And D-Mays, remember I was on your live the other day when Black people don't even want to admit that we were from here. America is not a separate island. America is on the end of a continent. America is part of another continent. if what I don't understand is black people, do you know where Haiti sit, where Haitians are at? Do you know where Cuba is? We talk about the Bahamas. We talk about all of those are right down at the bottom of America. So if all the Jamaica is right there, the Virgin Islands, everybody is black. So how is everybody around America black? But the people in America that you call Indians were not black. We all of a sudden came from Africa because the white people told us that they brung us from Africa, even though they asses in history taught us that they didn't even travel because they thought they were going to fall off the earth. So the stuff does not make any sense. We got two things. Science says that black people were here first. So if black people were here first, how did these mixed looking people that you claim to call Indians get in America? I mean, it's just giving them too much power over our lives. And until we start staking claim in our soil, until we start staking claim into where we are, we're not going to get reparations and we're not going to stick together. The reason why black people in America don't stick together because we're trying to be part of the Africans. We're trying to be part of this. We're trying to be part of the white. We're trying to be everybody except for ourselves. And just because we're from America doesn't mean we were one big family. There were many different tribes.
Facts.
There were tribes that came from Africa, just like we went back and forth. The transatlantic so-called slave trade was our trading system.
Yeah, because we already came back and forth. Yeah, we was all because we indigenous to the world. We've been everywhere. We in Mexico, we in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like we all everywhere.
Exactly, we are all over the world. But we
how can it be that the white man has been able? I'm even gonna say white to you, screw it. The white man. How can it be that the white man has been able to bamboozle melanated people across the globe that he is the gold standard? How is this even possible?
Because he used his military. He sold us out. You find a way, just like they did the peace pipe. Just like over here, we celebrate holidays that we threw away. You get rid of the adults, and the children don't know nothing. We just like now. We don't have not one story. Can no black person tell us not one story about their great grandparents, their grandparents, because they act like slavery was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Nobody grandparents told them that their family came from Africa. Everybody grandparents here talk about the stories here. Even with slavery, that our grandmamas and them talk about. My grandmama and all them talked about when they picked cotton, but they never said that their grandmama said they came from Africa. Nobody black here. My mom, them, when I came to them, they didn't know nothing about this until they started teaching us in school. Once they broke us from being taught by our own people, that was the trick of integrating us in school. That's why they started saying, hey, wait a minute, Martin Luther King got onto something. They integrated us, but got rid of him because our grandparents weren't able to read. Remember, we are the only people on earth that was killed if we read.
Mm-hmm. So
we're the only people on earth. So you got to put clues together, just like the escape rooms where you got to put the clues together to get the fuck out this room. We need to get the fuck out this room and start putting these clues together.
Yeah,
they playing us all over.
Yeah, we got a lot of work.
Is that we they didn't want us to read. You can't read. You couldn't use your language. You couldn't communicate because they didn't want us to tell each other, well, this is wrong. This is not wrong. I mean, this is wrong. That's a lie.
Yeah.
They didn't want that. They made sure we went to school, and our parents, just like now, they keep changing the way you do math. Unless you just a math scholar, most parents cannot help their kids with schoolwork right now.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
And that's done. That's like I said over and over. That's a military tactic, and that is done on purpose. They must have control of the minds of the children because eventually they know the adults are going to fade, and so they have to have control of the minds of the children. And they've already gotten. I mean, if you look at it from the time of the original Panthers up until now, in between that, from then till now, they have successfully gotten an entire generation. Well, I'll say generations of black people to not be proud of being what they are.
Exactly, because you kill off the older people when they went to war. If you look at a lot of them slavery pictures, you got a lot of young people, but there's only a couple of adults. When the people were in the field, the young people were sitting at home taking care of themselves. So you work the elderly to death. That's why they look at our children as adults at age 7 and 5 and 12. Look at how they act till this day. What's passed on to them is the way that the look at us and what's passed on to us is the way that we should react to them. We react as slaves, they act as masters. And we don't want to.
Looking at the hip hop culture, just hip hop culture alone, you would never think just just a generation ago, in the late '90s, early 2000s, the coolest thing in hip hop was to be Black, awake, and conscious, and going to college. Versus what's going on right now. You would never think that was
the money. They got rid of us. We sold ourselves out so that we can pay our light bill when we ain't realized that we would have just created our own, which we did create our own. But once they burn down these towns that they act like they don't know about, they burn down most of our generational wealth builders. We would be going back and forth to those towns. We wouldn't be stuck in a place where we had to go beg them for a job. They stripped us of everything. And we don't want to admit that.
And when you talk about and not to talk about the deceased and all that, but when you talk, but it is what it is, because the facts is the facts. When you talk about a James Earl Jones, the audacity to do a Coming to America type of movie and all the stuff he did, the Lion King voice, he obviously wanted to be in roles. Yeah, he wanted to be in roles that represented the Black man or the melanated man, however you want to call it. But then he turns around and goes right into the Hollywood system, goes skiing with a young skier and all that. And it's like, what we don't have a mechanism as a people to out people like that do this kind of stuff. We'll just go support them because they Black and we Black.
Yeah,
but you don't see this in any other culture. Like, you don't see any other culture being asked to prop up somebody as one of their own. That's not. They would never go ask the Asians to prop up somebody who came from let's say Brazil and prop her up as an Asian. They would never even think of asking them to do that.
Nope. They would never ask a Japanese person to go represent the Chinese. The Chinese
nobody respect Black people. They what it is. Nobody respect Black people. We just got a lot
because we won't demand respect. We'll beat each other down if we tell each other that the truth. If we say we were the original Indians, this our land, we'll beat each other down. No, don't say that out of this and that. Yeah. We'll beat each other down if we say don't listen to that music. We'll beat each other down when we say that white people, a majority of them, that's correct. Majority of white people don't like Black people. Yes, it is. I got white friends. We are so divided in our minds, and that's what the trick was. They say that take down the body, you got to get the head.
Yeah, immigration strip does. Yeah, exactly. So let's get into let's get into the port, y'all. Cause I gotta get out. So that port thing, y'all, is serious.
It's serious to a point, and this is back to what we're saying too. The ports are shutting down because they decided this is how Black people, we're always in every group fighting for something. It was LBGT 1 year. Now it's the port. Last time it was COVID. But at the end of the day, the people that use us to fight with them, they get what they want and they go about their days. The port workers,
they use the Civil Rights Act and all that and walk over our backs, and then we get nothing in return.
So y'all know one of the reasons why this thing going on. I've been talking about it. Like I said, we Black people don't scared to talk about technology, and that's what happened. Automation, robotics. That's and then the thing was crazy about it. Yeah, they're gonna go on a strike. I think some of them want like $39 an hour, $30-some an hour. And
they want like $5 an hour for every year. They want royalties.
They're not gonna do that.
They get royalties, but they want. And they're saying the billionaires are greedy, but in place, it was okay for them when they was making money. It was okay for them to ship in. Why are we getting bananas, grapes, chickens, and stuff like that from other countries anyway? Exactly. Why they're telling us they're letting Amazon and Jeff the rest of the rich buy up the land, burn down our farmlands? Why are they getting all this? Why are we dependent on other goods? They say we're not going to be good, but that's what Trump is talking about. Bring manufacturers back to America. All our manufacturers are out there working and getting stuff made on the pennies and coming back selling it to us for hundreds of dollars. Fuck the ports.
Exactly.
It's time for us to stand on our own, and I hope I told them a long time ago in one of my lives that they were going to turn in on themselves. When I sat out there at that beach and said that I pray that they turn in and turn against themselves, and that's all they've been doing. Everybody is mad because of the rich.
Yeah, and this thing is big, y'all. This thing it's like 45,000. Let me see. U.S. ports from Maine to Texas shut down Tuesday when the union representative representing about 45,000 dock workers, went on strike. The first time since 1977. Damn, that's like 2 years after I was born. Workers began walking picket lines early Tuesday, picketing near ports all along the East Coast. Workers outside the port of Philadelphia walked in circles and chanted "No work without a fair contract." Lengthy shutdown could raise prices on goods around the country and potentially cause shortages and price increase at big and small retailers alike as the holiday shopping season, along with tight presidential election. And of course, in the election all tied into it, because Biden said they're gonna wait and see. They can intervene, they want to, and they can push it for 80 days.
Let me tell you what they did. What they're not telling you is the story I read is that the port, the companies, they knew that this strike was coming because they had been negotiating union terms. Yeah. But what happened is they doubled up on their products. So it does tie in with the presidents. That's why they did that damn Inflation Reduction Act. Because when they went there, they brought all these goods. They doubled up. They knew the port workers were going to go on strike. They doubled up their goods, and they're selling it to us at a high price because the whole plan is to let the people, like that one port worker said, after the goods start getting low, we paying high prices. They're going to double the prices again now that the story get out, so they can justify tripling the prices on us that's already high. Mm-hmm. Turn around and then we're going to be mad with the port workers because now when the goods start running out, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. This problem goes down to even the concrete jungle. It's going to be the inner city people worse. They brought in the immigrants that know how to live off the land. The immigrants know how to live off of dirt, paper, whatever. We don't. We think our food and everything comes from the stores and everything comes from these corporations. We will sit here and starve and start eating each other, committing more crimes. They're going to pile us in the prison. These immigrants going to be out here, and them dock workers are going to keep being replaced. This is because America is cursed with its way that it have been always using poor people and black people to keep the families billionaires. There should be no billionaires if there's billionaires, there should not be no poor people.
I agree with you. They even here in Savannah got 2,000.
Exactly.
But look, they bought up goods and stuff, and they're playing this game with us.
Oh yeah, Walmart already prepared for it. They said, even though they probably one of the companies gonna hurt. Walmart, Samsung, I forgot the other one, but they said they got enough to hold for the holiday. Cause see, they gotta make their holiday money because y'all love to go spend all their money on Christmas. But this thing is political. It's politics to it, and like I said, unfortunately, people already hurting their pockets already with inflation.
And as far as us. There's going to be two takeaways. One is she must be a Trump supporter. She going to vote for that racist orange Trump. And the other thing we're going to take away from it is the hard reality that Kamala is in office right now, and like you're saying, they knew this was coming, and something could have been done. So I mean, and also like look at it with the Inflation Act. Not only for the fact that they wanted to profiteer, but when you do things like the Inflation Act, you are basically slowly desensitizing the American public to what's to come, to where it's normalized. Because remember, everybody could scream about gas when it was $2.50 a gallon, but then magically we got used to it. Now they raise it all the way up to $5 and $6. Exactly. Now $5 is normal. So it's the same process.
That's what they're going to do.
I don't want my people to think
they're raising the prices instead of us knowing like hell. Now they done got us out of they got us living in apartment buildings. We don't even know how to grow food in our backyard.
Yeah, and that's why we push on here, y'all. We ain't talked about it in a while. Survival. You gotta learn how to eat your survival kits. Learn how to survive. Get your food to last you about 2 or 3 years. Get your bug out bags and stuff. I'm telling you, because this is just the beginning. And going back to the technology, which I'm strong on, that's happening, y'all. Not just here, but all across the board. I just talked about it the other night. By 2030, a lot of these jobs gonna be obsolete. I talked to some people that they work in logistics. They like, yeah, man, they bring a lot of this stuff in, automation, robots, and this ain't 20, 30 years in there.
Who's getting the money from the same rich billionaires, the same rich people? This is not a black. I'm gonna say this to black, white. This is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. It's just that the majority of people who are going to be hurt the most by poverty is black people, because we have not ever got reparations. When we built things, we were destroyed. We never got repaired. But you got everybody else that's going to be hurting, because we're going to be sitting up here struggling for groceries, the basic bare minimum, if we do not know how to use what's in our own backyards and how to exchange between each other. The government took over from us exchanging from each other, the barter system, the mom and pop stores, to where we depend on the government, and the government makes deals with other countries. Well, don't worry, we will stop them from growing their own oranges and you shipping the oranges. We'll stop them from raising their own chickens and getting their own eggs, and you ship your chickens and eggs from China. Then we have the threat of all the fake food and chemicals they make over in China. I mean, it's all a game so we could keep the same damn rich families rich. And that's if black and white people are tired of it, then we need to stop, because there should be no rich people. You should not have a lobster is a lobster. Why the fuck your lobster costs $1,000 on your plate and it's 30 on mine?
Exactly.
On top of it, the black aspect of that. One of the greatest curses of the urban environment, aka the ghetto, that the redlining and putting us in these ghettos. Redlining itself tells you that there is a strategy. They carved out certain areas and put us there for a reason. They didn't just happen to go put them Negroes there. That's strategic, and they did it for a reason. So the reason why they wanted to put us there is to get us away from our farming background. Because remember, if you talk to any older black person, your grandfather, your great grandfather, there was always two things that they were always good with. It was either they were good with their hands, aka handiwork and making stuff work and fix around the house, or they were good with the soil, getting things to grow. And they took that out of the black family and put us in these urban environments and sapped that out of us. So that, like you're saying, when the immigrants come over here, they coming fresh off, living off the dirt. They know how to do this thing when we don't know how to do it no more, because we've been, what you call it, domesticated. And that's done by design.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave y'all without saying bye. But listen, I will say this though, like, and Pablo, you know, we all talk about this. Y'all get y'all survivor kits. We telling y'all right now, it's just the beginning. It's gonna be worse. You know what I'm saying? If you tell your kids to get a skill set, don't go to school, going to college, getting these BS degrees ain't gonna mean nothing in the next 5-10 years, because the world is evolving, technology taking off. If you don't want to deal with the technology, go out, get you some land, live off the land. You know what I'm saying? Just do it like that.
We're gonna have to stop eating the Skittles and the Coca-Colas. I've been learning it's hard, because at the end of the day, the cravings you got, you're gonna have to be satisfied with what you grow off your land, because you're gonna know it's not poison and it's the best you're gonna get, because you're gonna go in the store where you can grow couple of heads of lettuce for free with some seeds for about $5 or $10, and you go in the store and you're paying $20 a head of lettuce and stuff like that. It makes no sense. We're paying $8 for a bag of orange, and these oranges grow like crazy on one tree. They have all the trees cut down. You can't even find fruit. You used to could drive down the road, I remember, in the South, and you could pick plums and peaches and figs and stuff, and you eat along your way. You never had to have anything, but now they made sure the world is stripped, so you cannot depend on God. So you cannot depend on nature. Now you're depending on the white man, and they telling you that this port is a crisis. No, it's waking up the world, because the world is tired of this bullshit, and the universe and the ancestors are trying to turn you back to your first love, which is your God, which is Mother Nature.
Look at this part. Look at this part of it. One of the greatest Trojan horses to tie all this stuff in together was who? Barack Obama. You look at some of the things Barack did. Two very critical things that Barack Obama did that are damning and disastrous for Black people right now. And one some of us might disagree with, but I'm saying this on a strategic level as far as the end goal of white supremacy. One is Barack Obama. He didn't go through Congress. He literally wrote some executive orders that outlawed having family-ran farms. So he was now saying, and under that executive order, it was now illegal for the kids to be on the farm. Like little Johnny can no longer be raised up knowing how to grow the grapes and trim this and do that. That's now illegal. So he basically ended the family farm. And I said, what does that mean? He was bringing in way for people like Bill Gates, who buy up and build these corporate farms that are funneled through the chemicals that he wants to push into the people. Now you boil that down to the Black part of this. What's the other curse that Obama left us with? He's infamous for what? The rainbow. Now, it's here or there whether you agree about the Born This Way and all the other stuff, but as far as us as Black people, here is what it is on paper strategically. Henry S. Kissinger, former Secretary of State, said out of his own mouth, and they wrote it in the document, that abortion was no longer an effective way to keep Black numbers down to where we were a controllable people. We needed something more effective. He recommended homosexuality. They asked, how are we going to do this? through chemicals and through the food. That's why you have things like the experiments being done on us in the hospitals. That's why Black women have all these issues and a high mortality rate when they go to give birth and things like that. All this stuff is tied together. And you look at the effeminization of the Black man. What do they want? They want a people whose men are so feminine and weak that they can't defend their people. And I ain't talking about not every homosexual is a feminine like that going down that rabbit trail, but in a strategic point, in the general basis, in the general sense of what I'm talking about, they want a group of weak men that cannot defend their women, defend their people. And how are they doing this? It's through the food. Like she was just saying, the Skittles and all this stuff that we have these affinities for right now. Read those labels, and you're going to look at that product list, and you're going to see a lot of chemicals in that list. We got the ones that cause cancer, like Red 40 and all that, but you also got other stuff like we've talked about before, atrazine. That's a chemical that was able to castrate male frogs. That chemical was able to turn male frogs into female frogs. And we are feeding this to our children. So you think about it. We talking about born this way. That might actually be the case, because look at the food chain. When you look at the average Black community, you only have a handful of stores. It's always the same stores. Out here, I don't know what y'all got, but out here, you always have Food for Less, which we call Ghetto for Less. You have Walmart, and we call that Ghetto Mart. And then you have a couple of little Mexican stores, and it's always these same groups of stores. You will never find a Stater Brothers or Trader Joe's, Sprouts, not even what's the other one? The competitor for Sprouts, forgot the name, but it slipped my mind. But you won't find any of those stores that sell non-chemical and organic foods. You only find these same groups of stores that sell these chemicals. So you think about it. If grandmama lived off these chemicals, got pregnant, and fed it into her womb, and then mama was born, mama repeated the same process with these same foods and fried foods and chemicals and all this. This includes the restaurants. You only see the same type of restaurants. It's always the fried food. The fried fish, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, that's all we get. We don't get fresh cooked organic food. So if now mama does it, keeps the same cycle, she gives birth, and now daughter's doing it. What do you think those chemicals, atrazines, are doing? That atrazine has passed down, just what I just said. That's 4 to 5 generations that have been chemically altered. And that is the reason why they don't want you. That's why they don't want us in particular growing our own food. Yeah, that's why they don't want us in particular growing our own foods and knowing how to get back to farming like we used to know and things like that, because they can control us through the food, and we don't get that. I've heard a person say she came from New York and she came to California for whatever the case was. I think for vegan food or whatever. She wanted to see how the vegan scene was, and she said, you know what? I got sick to my stomach in California and New York, because she said every time I went to the Black community, as soon as I got there, it was like this heavy odor of fried food. That's all you smelled everywhere you went. And she was like, it started to just make me sick because I know what it is. And you wonder why little Johnny wants to suddenly wants to start sashaying, and he can't figure out what gender he is. This is why, because he's been fed. He has 5 generations above him fed on atrazine, and this is what we have going on here. This is literally a crisis. And if you think that you think that with all the gangs we got and all the stuff we got going on, if the white man flipped that switch right now, there is no way we as a people are going to be able to stand up and defend ourselves. And you know what's even worse? These immigrants coming over from these gangs in these other countries, they know that how weak we are, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. They know that they can pull up in Chicago and do what they're doing. Who's going to be stronger? The man who was raised on the field, living off the land in a foreign country, or the one that's been here off fried food?
Facts.
And that's why we do what we do.
The man in the field living off the land.
Yep. That's why we do what we do here, you all. You know, we love having these conversations with you all. We love engaging. But at the end of the day, our goal, you know, we always talk about our micronation. That is the goal. When we're talking about growing our own foods, you know, living healthier. I love talking about stuff like wild lettuce. You know, who would have thought that would have been a conversation? But learning that the very things that we need to survive, we have access to, and we just have to rearrange how we think and really get serious about what's going on. You know, I know we're all in different different areas here in the United States, but weather has been crazy, right? All over. I'm here in Indiana. Weather has been crazy. You have people that have lost, power. You're losing power. You're losing water sources and whatnot. And we're not paying attention to how that hits home. So that's why we have these conversations. You gotta be ready for what's coming. So make sure you're definitely growing your own foods. Make sure, we've had conversations about, keeping seeds. Queen Kathy B talks about growing indoors and outdoors. Love these conversations. So yeah, that's the core of what we do. So y'all make sure y'all like and share and subscribe to Night in Person. But keep on.
Exactly.
Right? Are you allowed? Are we allowed to say the grape word without the G in it on the air anymore?
I have no idea. I just say it because people say it. I mean, it's a shame when you cannot say grape and murder because that's what they do. So they censor everything that comes from the rich, and they censor us from talking about it because they're ready for the next generation when they get rid of us to be okay with these type of words. Look at how we got down to calling each other word like it's no problem.
Yep, and watch this one, and you'll see that the name is a slap in the face for us. Now, a moment ago, I mentioned what Obama did with the farms, which brought us over to these now corporate farms without any oversight or anything, because the FDA is going to approve whatever they get paid to approve. So we have been doing some research for our dietary law thing over here in the party, and come to find out, what we are consuming is literally the same oil that you would put in a vehicle. What they do is they boil it down and they refine it over and over, and they produce this product called, if you look at the labels when you go to the store on a lot of the products, and especially the cooking oils, you'll see that it says not grape seed oil, but rape seed oil without the G, rape seed oil. Then that is literally the byproduct of the fuel, the oil that you put into a vehicle. And that's what we are cooking our foods in. And this stuff is put in everything, down to the granola bar. They bake cookies in this stuff and everything. And this is why we have such an obesity problem in the Black community. This is why we have a diabetes problem in the Black community. This is why we're having strokes at a higher rate than anybody in the Black community, because we are constantly fed off of this destructive diet that they keep peddling into us. And it's like
trying to kill us. Yeah, they're literally trying to kill us.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, I've heard, now I haven't personally been to prison. So, I almost got there, but I haven't personally been in prison. But every person I know that has been to prison, they go, yeah, man, when you eat the food in there, you quickly get docile. You get this heavy feeling. You get overweight. And I was like, yeah, there's like fatted calves. It literally is like fatted calves. And I said, and they're doing the same thing here on the street because it's the same cycle. I worked
in a prison, Pablo.
Also, you've seen it, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
A Negro coming there with a six-pack.
They make this, they get boxes, and everything is shipped in from a company, and wherever that company comes from, that's how they ship to prison. That's why I said everything is set up for billionaires to stay rich, and I've seen how it works.
You best believe that food company has a government contract, and that's worth a lot of money. That's how it goes. It'll be a company like Cisco.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the same companies that are supplying the prison food are supplying the food for the schools, for the education system.
They are. That's where I was about to go. They actually are. There's this company called Cisco.
And that's why in other countries.
Did it cut out?
Can y'all hear?
No, I think I both stopped talking at the same time out of respect. No.
Yeah, I think when you worked at the prison, Cisco, did you ever see this company called Cisco? Because I've seen Cisco.
Can y'all hear me?
Going to where because we got a lot of prisons out here, so you always see these certain type of food trucks, and we're not talking about little catering trucks. Talking about big 16 or 18 wheelers pulling up to the schools in the prison. It's always the same companies, so it is the same suppliers.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
And then why don't they just let us grow real food? Why not be like other countries and we just grow real food, grow real meat? What is the problem? They want to get rid of everything that is human, that is alive. And these are, you ever seen Star Wars when the people that simulated everybody into be part robot, part human, and they had to eat different stuff? It's like they don't care. The rich are so greedy that they're turning us all into robots.
What is the name of that store? If any of you know, that's like it's the direct competitor for. I think it's something market. It's like what's the name of that store? I don't know why their name is slipping my mind, but
what's it do? What kind of store is it?
They're like the same as Sprouts and Trader Joe's.
Whole Foods?
I don't know.
Yeah, Whole Foods. That's the store. Whole Foods. So look at this one. So I used to shop at Whole Foods a lot because they had organic foods and their prices were slightly lower than Sprouts. So I always hung with Whole Foods. Now recently, Amazon acquired Whole Foods. Now guess what that means? Now when you go on to Whole Foods, you notice the labels of all chains. So I went there one day and some said, flip that over and read that label. It was vegan cookies. It literally says bioengineered food added product or added to the cookies. And I started to go around the store, look at various things. It's on everything in there. And then the one that really blew me away was the organic blueberries, the organic frozen fruits. They were all made in China. But you look at the front, it looks like it was made at an American farm and organic. But when you read the fine print, it says product of China.
But that's what I'm saying. Why are we getting stuff from other countries? You would want to get stuff from other countries that you cannot get in America. But they're giving us basic fruits and vegetables that they can get from other countries so they can give the other countries a little bit of money so that they can go in there and get those countries resources. So that's their deals with these countries. That's why Trump is saying, even with the cars, that we're not going to be buying cars and they making cars in Mexico, make cars here in America and give us jobs. It's like they want us to be the shoppers of everybody, but yet you don't want to give us money to shop with.
Are you guys aware of this influencer called the Food Babe?
No.
Okay, so the Food Babe is like, she's like this vegan / health influencer. I think she's on every platform, but I only know her from Instagram. So she led this nationwide campaign against the federal government and the FDA and whatnot about the scheme they got going with the food. So we just got through talking about chemicals like Red 40. That's all up in the Fruit Loops and all the candies and stuff here. So what you know that these same cereals, if you go over to Britain or if you go to the Asian countries, or even to Canada, they use real fruit, real natural ingredients that come from the ground. And then over here, they use the chemicals. So they bought up this thing and they actually won the case to where they forced these companies to use this. If you can use the same products in Britain, then you're going to have to use the same products here. So they won that. They won that lawsuit. I don't know how it goes, but she won. They went to Congress and went before Congress, and now there's a law coming down that's going to stop these American companies from using these chemicals that they've been using. So what they've done is they've already started to mislabel the product. So they'll use trick words so you don't know what's really in the product. But exactly. The hammer is dropping and people are going like, wait, these things are in our kids' school lunch. This is what they feeding the kids in the schools. And we wonder why kids can't decide which gender they are, why Johnny wants to show up and shoot the whole school up and all this stuff, why they're over emotional. This is why.
Exactly.
And by law, they only have to put like so many harmful ingredients in your food. They don't have to put all of them. There's like a certain number, a certain percentage of all the horrible
and
stuff.
That's what we go after. Those are the laws we go after where you can't put no chemicals in. But until we grow our own food, we can keep complaining. And that's why we're going to have our meeting so we can start trying to do something with the land that we have so that those that be part of a keep-along, we can have some type of sustainable living system that we can import our own foods from our own mountain, or something. But we have to prepare because they're preparing for us. Even if it's a small group of us, we have to prepare because Black people are going to run around still buying Gucci, Louis, Chanel, and every other label out there to look like they're rich. And looking rich mean you look like you're healthy because you look like you've been going to the doctor. It look like you've been taking care of yourself. It look like you eating all the right foods. That's why Black people are wearing labels with all this gold and all this stuff that makes them look like looking rich mean you're looking healthy when you're dying on the inside, mentally dying. You're not eating the right foods. You're looking rich in a poor neighborhood that is filled with chemicals.
What would you guys say to the Black parents, especially the single parent that goes, I got to work 2 and 3 jobs just to stay afloat. I don't have time to plant a garden and cook the home cooked meals, and because they basically see this as white stuff. So what would you guys say to them?
A lot of them they gotta take the time. This is what my daughter do. She don't have time for it, but she's been trying. She's been trying to get plants in her house. My daughter has been trying to. She goes to farmers markets. That's why you have to go to the farmers markets. We don't talk about that because it's not in the air conditioned supermarket, and so y'all don't go. Farmers markets are grown off of their own farm. So go to find your local farmers market. Find your local bee community garden if you can't grow it. Some of these farmers markets take EBT. No, but in some of the farmers market are only there like maybe a couple of times a month. Some people is a week. You know, you got to find your local farmers market and your local honeybee sellers and stuff like that. You got to find your local mom and pop places where you can get food and stop depending on Walmart and these other places. I'm guilty of it too because we get in a rush. But that's something that we all have to do. Because we are here now. This port is not going to be, it's not getting any better. They got rid of the farmers. They got rid of farming land. It was just the other year and we knew it. They knew it was coming. We keep saying, why was the chicken plants being set on fire? Why are these farmlands being set on fire? Why are they pouring chemicals in the air with these so-called planes and stuff? We know that they want us to be disabled people so that we won't fight back, so that they can keep living. The devil can keep living on its high horse, but everything has to fall. And they're holding on by strings. Everybody is getting tired. Black people, we've been tired because we've been the dock workers, the port workers. We've been all these workers. Now that other races and white people are being used, they want more because they see the rich whites are getting everything. We're back at square one after slavery when you had poor whites and black people. We're here again. But we're not going to play that game where we get everybody on top and we get rights and then white people get on and live on their lives, because what's going to happen at the port is that some of them are going to get whatever they want or they settle out, and we're still going to be black in America dealing with the police shooting us, dealing with chemicals in our neighborhoods, dealing with it until we just say enough is enough and get like the port workers and work away from these fast food jobs and stuff. But they make it where we don't stick together. So if your lights are off, my lights are on, it doesn't mean I'm gonna let you in my house because now I don't trust you. I don't trust you around my children. I don't trust. They make it do a black people are the black people worst enemy. I don't know what we're gonna do but we really need to start ourselves as a family.
I was having this conversation with this guy. I think he was I don't know. He wasn't Mexican. He was from another country. Might have been Honduras or something like that. And he was talking. He was talking to me about us, and he was like, "I marvel at how you guys have survived all this." Because he was like, when I came over here, he was like, "I thought the Democrat Party was a good thing. I thought that racism was over." And he said, "I really believed all these lies." And he said, when I got here and got on the ground, he said, I experienced a culture shock. And he was like, now I got more respect for black people that y'all have survived all that is against y'all, including from my people. And I was like, well, I can respect you for that. And then he goes, now as far as the Mexicans, he was like, I'm not Mexican, of course, but he said, I'm really impressed by their underground system. He said this country can collapse right now and they'll be just fine because they have a solid underground system. And he said, notice that all the other Spanish speaking groups come over here, they tap into that system, leverage it to build their own, and then they start building up for their own people. So I said, of course. I said, now you're starting to see here in LA, I said, a lot of places that used to be taco places are now pupusa places, which is an El Salvadorian food. So now you got El Salvadorian.
That's how it is here, Pablo. That's how it is here. It was no food trucks. Now all these immigrants came in. We was just sitting there. It's like there's a whole field of food trucks. But if you don't know no better, when we in Quincy went, they all Hispanic. But I said, no, they're not Hispanic. I said, pay attention. That's British. That's Honduras. That's Mexican. That is Italian. That is his, they all, when you go, then you start realizing how different, and that's how we are, but we don't see ourselves that way.
Yeah, because like I said, and I told him, I said, now we have Africa Town. I explained to him what we do in Africa Town. I said, now in Africa Town, all these different melanated countries, including us that were born and raised here, we all work together and we do our trade together. We conduct business together. But I said that's why they work so hard to bring Africa Town down, because they don't want us doing what all these other ethnic groups are doing. They realize that we wouldn't be worried about the port if we had, like you were mentioning earlier, our original trade system where we were doing global trade with each other as melanated people. Like, there's no coincidence that there's pyramids in Egypt and pyramids in Mexico. That's because we obviously had a global system where we had commerce with each other. Yeah, we had a global system of commerce with each other, and the white structure does not want us getting back to that. That's why they do everything they can to keep us micro divided. I mean, like I said, I don't find nothing wrong with somebody saying that, hey, we are melanated, but our people are literally from this land, from this American land. We don't all have to be from Africa. And I don't find nothing wrong with us saying
in Africa. If you look, they're different tribes. The melanated people in America, we weren't all. They called us Indians. We were just a bunch of different tribes of melanated people who they took us and threw us all together like a fucking salad.
Yep, pretty much. That's how they did it. And I said that's why they don't want us sitting down and having conversations like we have on this program, because they don't want us noticing that fact. They don't want us to start, because if we did that, screw the port, let the port collapse. We'd have our own internal melanated global trading system. We wouldn't care about that. That's why Barack Obama had Muammar Gaddafi assassinated, was for that very reason right there. They don't want us to do that.
Let me tell you something, Pablo. You answered the question of what the micronation is and what Kibalon is. It is basically what Africa Town is. We just call ourselves a Kibalon. It's just that we are all different groups and different melanated people that know that, hey, we need to stick together. The analogy is the food truck places. Like I said, you go there and it looks like they all Hispanic, but they all come from British Honduras. What did you say? El Salvador. The Italian. They all are Hispanic. And black people, like we just said, they were just like a salad. A salad is a salad, but there's different pieces to the salad. We are all black in America, but we're different pieces. I'm not saying some black people did not come from Africa and wasn't not shipped over here. Those were your engineers and architects, because they wanted America to be the thriving the new city, like imagine New York used to be. That's how Africa was to America. That's how Egypt and them was to America. You would probably go there for your high class doctors and your more gold and goods when you would come over here for something. So we traded for different things, and so they make us think that we were just one group of black people getting along over here. That was not true, and to think that is to be an idiot. But black people were here. We were just from all over. There was probably some black people that moved over from Africa and lived in America, but the black people from America was from this continent. The black people from Africa was from there. The black people from Jamaica was there. The black people from Honduras was there. The black people from Haitian was there. We can't have all these black people around us and then skip over and say, oh, these people here in America was just Indian. And then you get the face of Indian as these long, stringy head white people. Come on. It's time for us to stick. I'm serious. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
We don't even look at maps anymore. Just look at the map. I want black people to do me some homework. Get a map and look at the edge of Florida. That's where you're going to find British Honduras. That's where you're going to find Cuba. That's where you're going to find Haiti. That's where you're going to find Jamaica. That's where you're going to find the Bahamas, the Virgin Islands. They're all in there. Those are all black people. So if there's black people all around, on the top of you, on the left of you, if you look on the side of Florida where the little handle is and go across, that's Africa. So how is everybody around black, but then all of a sudden we giving credit to white people for bringing black people to a land that was already inhabited, that they know nothing about?
Hello.
And it goes back to, like we said earlier, once you get a hold of the youth, you can phase the facts and the truth out just in one generation.
Yes, and that's what happened to us.
You're in the Matrix, Pablo.
What'd you say, Queen? I thought she was saying something. Is it me? Can y'all hear me? Queen. Pablo.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, we're going to get up out of here. We've been on here. So
Yeah, I don't know if the sound is going in and out. Sounds like
it's breaking up, Queen. Yeah, it's breaking up. So I guess we're gonna get ready to get out of here, as Queen Tina Barrett was saying. Straight no chasing what the Queen was saying. We're gonna get ready to get out of here. Make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. And have these conversations like in real time right now. And let's be boots on the ground, right? Probably will take us out.
Yes, and as we leave you, no, we're not Trump supporters. No, we don't like Kamala. Yes, we might even sit down and watch Candace Owens and agree with some of the things she says. And you know what that's called? That's called critical Black thinking. That's called the thinking of those who see that separation is the only answer for Black survival. Because if we keep going down this American rabbit hole, we are going to be looking at an extinction scenario. It's going to be real serious, real quick. So I ended on a somber note. We just come here to give you the facts, and you have a decision to make, Black man, Black woman. You have a decision to make. Either you want to stay on the chocolate Titanic, because we've already struck the iceberg. So either you want to bloopity bloopity bloop while you listen to the violins play, or you want to come over here and build the Black homeland. You already know the website. You know what it is. You know what we do. Give them that website one more time and leave them with that.
You're going to want to go to www.theunitedempiresofAkibulan.com. Akibulan is spelled ALKEBULAN. Go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be doing some new things. Going to be updating some stuff. We've got a meeting to go to kind of revamp. So you all make sure you get in touch with us. Let us know how you can contribute to your community and how we can grow together. That's where it starts. It's being boots on the ground and having these conversations and putting action behind them. Tell them I'm playing there.
So with that, we sign off. So I'll leave you with a
I'm sorry, y'all. My internet went out, but I heard Pablo say Black Power, so that means we out of here.
We out. Peace.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Like and share. Like and share.